Welcome in SCA Academy. Welcomes all the students in SCA Academy in a live platform. We conduct here a series of lectures of science from class 7th NCERT syllabus or CBSE syllabus. In this lecture, we almost complete our 8 to 9 lectures according to the chapter heat. हमने हीट का चैप्टर स्टार्ट किया था, जिसमें हीट क्या है, टेम्परेचर क्या है, इसे ऑलमोस्ट हमने 8 से 9 लेक्चर यहाँ पे अपलोड कर दिए हैं। उसमें हमने डिटेल्स में ईच एंड एवरी कंसेप्ट्स हमने क्लियर किया है कि हीट क्या होता है, टेम्परेचर क्या होता है, कैसे मेजर करना है टेम्परेचर को, कौन कौन से इंस्ट्रूमेंट डिवाइसेस यूज होते हैं टेम्परेचर को मेजर करने के लिए, क्लिनिकल थर्मामीटर क्या होता है, लैबोरेटरी थर्मामीटर क्या होता है, इनके डिफरेंसेस भी हमने यहाँ पे देख लिए। In previous lecture, we discussed about how the heat is transferred. Means how the heat energy are transferred from one object to another object. What are the mechanisms are present in that process? How the heat is transferred. In previous lecture, we already discussed about how the heat is transferred by using the aluminum rod, by using a copper strips also. And we already discussed in previous lecture what is meant by conductor and what is meant by insulator. Conductor means which allow to pass the heat energy from, and insulator they are not allowed to pass the heat energy called as the insulator and conductor. In previous lecture, we discussed about the activity number 4.7, which is very important activity, which is mentioned in your textbook also. Activity number 4.7. Activity is a 4.7. Okay, activity is a 4.7. Let's read. Heat water in a small pan or a beaker. Collect some articles such as steel, spoon, plastic, scale, pencil and divider. Dip one end of each of these articles in the hot water. Figure 4.8. In a figure 4.8, it mentioned that this is the figure are mentioned in your textbook. ये आपके टेक्स्ट बुक में एक छोटी सी डायग्राम दी है. Which diagrams consist of the beaker is there. ये क्या है, पूरा बीकर है. बीकर में हमने हॉट वाटर लिया है. It contains the hot water and some instruments are deep in that water. Some instrument or some devices are inserted in that hot water, or some articles are inserted in hot water. From that, we have to understand that from this figure, we have to understand which one article has the capacity to conduct the heat or to absorb the heat. Heat को absorb कौन कर रहा है, heat को conduct कौन कर रहा है. From these articles, we have to identify. कौन कौन से आर्टिकल्स है यहाँ पे देखो. Which one articles is there? Articles such as steel. Steel is there. Steel spoon, sorry. Plastic scale, pencil, divider. These are some articles. These are some articles are put in the beaker. Beaker में हमने क्या किया है, insert कर दिया है. And this is the hot water. ये कैसा है? It is the hot water. तो हमें आइडेंटिफाई करना है कि कौन से आर्टिकल्स हीट को ट्रांसफर कर रहे, हीट को एब्जॉर्ब कर रहे हैं फ्रॉम दिस एक्टिविटी. नेक्स्ट आर्टिकल्स हमने क्या लिए थे, स्टील स्पून लिया था. इट्स मेड फ्रॉम द मेटल, कंडक्टिविटी यस. और डज द अदर एंड गेट्स हॉट. अगर हमारे पास एक स्टील का स्पून है, एक एंड हमने हॉट वाटर में डीप किया है. दिस इज द हॉट वाटर. हॉट वाटर में डीप किया है. इस नेक्स्ट एंड पे ये एंड ए हो गया, ये दूसरा बी हो गया. तो यहां से यहां तक हीट ट्रांसफर हो रही है क्या, इन केस ऑफ द स्टील स्पून. तो यस, इट कैन बी कंडक्ट द हीट एनर्जी फ्रॉम वन एंड टू अनदर एंड. अनदर मटेरियल द प्लास्टिक इज देयर. प्लास्टिक प्लास्टिक का जो हमने आर्टिकल्स लिया था कॉल्ड एज अ डिवाइडर. डिवाइडर हमने लिया था मेड फ्रॉम द प्लास्टिक. प्लास्टिक से बना है. ये कंडक्ट करेगा क्या? नो. फ्रॉम योर ऑब्जर्वेशन वी कैन कंसीडर दैट divider are made from the plastic and plastic cannot conduct the heat energy from one end to another end. अगर प्लास्टिक हीट एनर्जी को कंडक्ट नहीं कर रहा है फ्रॉम वन एंड टू अनदर एंड, such articles we can call as, क्या कहेंगे हमको? called as insulator. called as the, हम उनको क्या कहेंगे? इंसुलेटर है. वो क्या है? इंसुलेटर है. बिकॉज दे कैन नॉट अलाउड टू पास द हीट एनर्जी. एक एंड से दूसरे एंड में वो एनर्जी को पास नहीं करेंगे. दैट मीन्स दिस कंसेप्ट इज कॉल्ड एज द इंसुलेटर. दीज आर रिलेटेड विद द मटेरियल्स, दैट मटेरियल्स कैन नॉट अलाउ द हीट एनर्जी आर ट्रांसफर फ्रॉम वन एंड टू अनदर एंड, आर कॉल्ड एज द इंसुलेटर. And according to steel spoon is conduct the heat energy. So according to the steel spoon we can say that steel spoon is a conductor. किसका कंडक्टर है? हीट एनर्जी का कंडक्टर. हम क्यों कह रहे हैं? बिकॉज हीट कैन बी ट्रांसफर द हीट एनर्जी फ्रॉम वन एंड टू अनदर एंड. एक एंड से दूसरे एंड में एनर्जी ट्रांसफर हो रही है. Such a material are called as the conductor. And steel spoon are made from the metals, so we can say that metal are conductor of heat energy. Metals are conductor of heat energy because they allow the heat energy are transfer from one end to another end. Okay. After that, does the other end enter your observation in the table? So you have to analyze this previous chart. And articles here, you have to mention here 1 2 3 whatever is articles you have to mention here किससे बने हैं and they can conduct electricity, yes or no. Table 4.3, the materials which allow the heat to pass through them easily are called as the conductor. Yes, I told that the material which allow to pass through them. What pass? Heat energy are passed from one end to another end or transfer. The materials are to be used which allow the heat energy to pass from one end to another end. Such a material we call as the conductor. हम उनको क्या कहते हैं? कंडक्टर कहते हैं, क्योंकि वो हीट एनर्जी को एक एंड से दूसरी एंड में क्या कर रहे हैं? ट्रांसफर कर रहे हैं. We can call as the conductor. So the definition of the conductor is to allow the pass of the heat energy from one end to another end of heat. For examples, aluminium, iron, copper. The material which do not allow the heat to pass through them easily are poor conductor of heat, such as plastic, wood are the poor conductor. The poor conductors are known as insulator. हम इनको क्या कहते हैं? इंसुलेटर कहते हैं, बिकॉज दे आर नॉट अलाउड टू पास द हीट एनर्जी फ्रॉम वन एंड टू अनदर एंड. पास नहीं करना चाह रहे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, उन्होंने एग्जाम्पल दिया फॉर प्लास्टिक एंड वुड आर द इंसुलेटर आर और द पुअर कंडक्टर ऑफ हीट एनर्जी, बिकॉज दे कैन नॉट कंडक्ट द हीट एनर्जी फ्रॉम वन प्लेस टू और फ्रॉम वन एंड टू अनदर एंड. सो कैन बी कॉल्ड एज इट्स अ इंसुलेटर. If they are allowed to pass the heat energy from one end to another end, then we can call it as the conductor. For example, aluminum is a conductor, iron is a conductor, copper is also conductor of heat energy from one end to another end. So conductor and insulator, these are the two terms are related with the articles or are related with the substances. क्या हमारे पास बहुत सारे ऐसे substances हैं? From that substance we cannot analyze which one is a conductor, which one is a insulator, और कौन सा सब्सटेंस हीट को ट्रांसफर कर रहा है और कौन सा सब्सटेंस हीट को ट्रांसफर नहीं कर रहा है. सेवरल ऑब्जेक्ट्स ना, सेवरल आर्टिकल्स वी हैव. बहुत सारे ऐसे आर्टिकल्स है, बहुत सारे ऐसे सब्सटेंस है हमारे पास. हमें पता नहीं चलेगा. हमें पता कैसे चलेगा? बाय यूजिंग द एक्टिविटी. वी कैन हीट द बीकर विद हॉट वाटर, add some articles is there, and that articles, if they are transfer heat energy from one end to another end, it means they are a conductor. If they are not pass the heat energy from one end to another end. It means they are insulator. These are the simple definition for conductor and insulator. Conductor which pass the heat energy. Insulator, they cannot pass the heat energy, called as the insulator. These are the very simple definition for conductor and also the insulator. In the previous lecture we also discussed about that, conductor and insulator. This is a conductor is there. This is the insulator. We already discussed that. Carry, allow the transfer of heat energy, not conduct, not transfer the heat energy as like a plastic, as like a iron, as like aluminum. We already discussed that. Okay, this is the insulator. The water and air are a poor conductor of heat. Then how does the heat transfer take places in these substances? Let us find out. Air is there. Another one is the water, air and water. Air as well as the water are the poor conductor of heat. Then how does the heat transfer take places in these substances? Let us find out. Let us find out if the air and water are the poor conductor of heat energy. Are the poor conductor of heat energy? How does the heat transfer take place in these substances? अगर बात करेंगे वाटर की, अगर बात करेंगे एयर की, they are poor conductor of heat energy. Means that the substance which absorb the heat energy is another thing. The substance which absorb the heat energy and transfer it is another thing, is another concept. कोई सब्सटेंस हमारे पास ऐसे है, they can absorb only the heat energy, they cannot transfer. और कुछ सब्सटेंस हमारे पास ऐसे है, they can absorb the heat energy and also transfer the heat energy. These are the two different things. So air and water can absorb the heat energy, but they cannot transfer the heat energy. So why we called as the, हम उनको क्यों कहेंगे कि ये कंडक्टर है? कंडक्टर का मीनिंग होता है एक जगह से दूसरी जगह ट्रांसफर करना, then we called as a conductor. Only स्टोर करना, it's not a conductor. अगर कोई ऑब्जेक्ट ओनली स्टोर कर रहा है हीट एनर्जी को, then we cannot called as a conductor. Why we not called as a conductor? Because it cannot transfer ना, एक जगह से दूसरी जगह ट्रांसफर हो रहा है क्या? नहीं हो रहा है. They can be absorb only the heat energy as like a air and as like a water. For that we cannot say that water and air are the conductors. कंडक्टर के लिए क्या होना चाहिए? एक जगह से हीट एनर्जी ट्रांसफर होनी चाहिए, दूसरी ए पॉइंट से बी पॉइंट में जानी चाहिए. लेट्स एनालाइज. एक्टिविटी नंबर 4.8 is take a round bottom flask. If a flask is not available, a beaker can be used. अगर फ्लास्क है तो फ्लास्क ले लो, नहीं तो beaker you can take also. Fill it 2/3 with water. Place it on a tripod or make some arrangement to place the flask in such a way that you can heat it by placing a candle below it. Wait till the water in the flask is still placed. A crystal of potassium permanganate at the bottom of the flask. Gently using a straw, now heat the water by placing the candle just below the crystal. Let's see the diagram. Let's see the diagram for that. Here is the diagram. This is a round bottom flask is there. It consists of water. हमने water लिया है 2/3 water and some crystals of potassium permanganate. KMnO4. Potassium permanganate. And water from the side move down. This process continues till the whole water get heated. This mode of heat transfer is known as convection. Another term is there called as the convection. So this is another term which are related with the conductor. Means those substances are allowed to pass the heat energy from one place to another place, then we can call as the conductor. Another term is there called as the convection. So what is the difference between the conductor and convection? Conductor are those substances are present in a solid state. हमारे पास ऐसे substance है, those substances are present in a solid state. We talk about only the solid state substances When these solid state substances which carry the heat energy from one place to another place, for that we can use the term called as the conductor, only for the solid state, as like a steel spoon, as like a aluminum rod, as like a iron rod. These are some examples of a conductor which are present in a solid state. Solid state, you know that the solid state, matter. All the things present on the earth are made from the matter, and matter can be classified into three categories. One is a solid, another one is a liquid, and another one is a gas. These are the three states of the matter. अगर हम कह रहे हैं all the things present around us are made from the matter, and that matter can be classified on the solid, liquid and gas state. So अगर हमें हमारे सराउंडिंग में जितनी चीजें दिखाई देती है, एक तो वो सॉलिड स्टेट में होगी, नहीं तो एक तो लिक्विड स्टेट में होगी, नहीं तो किस में होगी, गैसेस में. फॉर एग्जांपल सॉलिड स्टेट, ब्लैक बोर्ड, दिस इज अ बोर्ड, डिजिटल बोर्ड इज देयर, आर प्रेजेंट इन व्हिच स्टेट? इट इज अ सॉलिड स्टेट. We take a sip of water, are present in a liquid state. We inhale gas, oxygen, are present in a gas state. So these are the matters are present in a solid, liquid and gaseous state. When we talk about the conductor, हम अगर कंडक्टर की बात कर रहे हैं, कंडक्टर, these words are related to the solid substances which allow the heat energy, which allow the pass heat energy, called as the conductor. When we talk about the liquid substances, which carry or transfer the heat, अगर हम लिक्विड सब्सटेंस की बात कर रहे हैं सर, तो उस कंडीशन में अगर कोई लिक्विड सब्सटेंस हमारे पास प्रेजेंट है, अगर हम उसको हीट कर रहे हैं by giving the external sources, after that liquid substances transfer the heat energy from one particle to another particle, then we can call as it's a convection. It's a convection, not a conductor. Not a conductor. We can say that it's a convection, because when you talk about the liquid state, the particles are present in that liquid state are away from each other. There must some distance is there. So for that, the heat energy are transferred from one particle to another particles. There is a process. That process or that phenomena is called as the convection. Convection are the transfer of heat in a liquid substance. हम लिक्विड सब्सटेंस की बात कर रहे हैं जहां पे हीट ट्रांसफर हो रही है by the process of a convection. Isn't it? You clear that conductor and convection different, but the phenomena are same. Both are transfer the heat energy. चाहे कंडक्टर हो वो भी हीट एनर्जी ट्रांसफर कर रहा है, चाहे कन्वेक्शन हो वहां भी हीट एनर्जी क्या हो रही है, ट्रांसफर हो रही है. In both the cases we analyze the heat are transfer from one part to another part or one particle to another particle which are present in a liquid state. So the convection is that. How does the heat transfer in air? In which direction does the smoke go? The air near the heat sources get hot and rises. The air from the side comes into the take its places. In this way, the air gets heated. The following activity confirm this idea. Activity is that light a candle, keep one hand above the flame and one hand on the side of the flame. Do your hands feel equally hot? If not, which hand is feel hotter and why? Be careful keeping your hands at your safe distance from the flame. They do not get burned. This is another activity, activity number 4.9. These activities are related with the how the air present in atmosphere, how that air or the molecules or the particles are present in that air, how they absorb the heat energy and how they are transferred from one particle to another particle. So here we can say that if I have the solid substances, I have the liquid substances, liquid, and I have the gaseous substances is there. Solid, liquid, gases is there. Okay. When you talk about the solid substances, they can carry the heat energy. They can carry the heat energy. Then we can use the conductor. We can use the term conductor. अगर सॉलिड केस में अगर सब्सटेंस है, अगर वो हीट ट्रांसफर कर रहा है फ्रॉम वन पार्ट टू अनदर पार्ट, then that phenomena we can call as the conductor. So these are the some ways, or these are the some factors are responsible to carry the heat from one part to another part, or we can say that heat energy can be transferred by the process of conduction, by the process of this conductor, or this is called as the conduction. The process is called as the conduction. We can call it as the conduction. From why we call it as the conduction? Because solid substances carry the heat energy from one part to another part. That instrument or that article called as the conductor, and this whole phenomena is called as the conduction. हम उनको क्या कहते हैं? Conduction कहते हैं. We can call it as the conduction, one part to another. When you talk about the liquid, they can transfer heat energy from one particle to another. This is also called as the process convection. This process we can call as the convection. हम इनको क्या कहते हैं? It is a convection. When the substance is in a liquid state, it absorbs the heat energy. It transfers the heat energy from one particles to another particles. We can call as the convection. हम इनको क्या कहते हैं? Convection कहते हैं. जिसमें particles absorb करेंगे heat energy and transfer करेंगे दूसरे particles. अगर हम बात करेंगे बेस्ट एग्जांपल फॉर दैट, हमने अगर वाटर लिया है, फॉर एग्जांपल अगर हमने यहाँ पे एक बीकर में वाटर लिया है, दिस इज H2O, वाटर लिया है, और इसको नीचे से हम बाय फ्लेम से हीट कर रहे, नीचे से क्या करें? हीट. तो आपको क्या लगता है कि पूरा का पूरा पानी, पूरा का पूरा वाटर एक साथ में हीट अप होगा? नहीं. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, the particles present here, present in a water, they absorb the heat energy and they transfer the heat energy through other particles. ऐसे ही पानी क्या होता है? गर्म होता है. This process is called as the convection. इनको हम क्या कहते हैं? Convection कहते हैं, because the substances are present in a liquid state and in that liquid state heat energy are transferred from particles to particles, not from one end to another end. One end to another end, I am talking about the conductor or called as the conduction. But convection are present in a liquid state. The substances are present in a liquid. They are transfer the heat energy from one particle to another particle. This is about the conductor or a convection. Conduction or convection. Conduction for solid, convection for liquid. These are the two important terms are related with the heat, transfer of the heat. Okay, understand both the concepts. One is the conductor, another one is the convection. Solid for liquid only. Hope you understand all the concepts are related with the conductor as well as the convection. If you have any doubt, you can ask in a comment section. You clear all your concepts here only in SC Academy. Okay, thanks all of you.